Hello, how are you?
I am so good. How are you?
Good, good. So, Ballroom Boxies, I want to introduce you to Christine Bar Noel, and we are going to share a little bit about the special card that was in your box this fall, and then also our little sticker. But we'll just kind of get started. Christine, if you would introduce yourself and tell us your connection to the ballroom industry.
Yeah. So my name is Christine Bar Noel, and I'm a ballroom baby. So I grew up in the ballroom world. My father owned a dance studio for over 15 years in Kansas City. And I started dancing very, very young when I was like 9 or 10. Still not as young as most, but young. And I started competing around like 14, 15. And in 2011, my dad and I decided to compete together in a pro-am competition, and we became the first ever father-daughter world champions.
That's so sweet.
It was awesome. It was
I
so,
love
so
it.
cool. And so, yeah, so I've kind of been dancing my whole life. I met my husband dancing.
Okay.
He's in the salsa, Afro-Latin world and was on a salsa team that traveled all over the nation.
Oh, fun.
And then we met. And so dance has always been a part of my life.
Okay. Awesome. That's so great. So,
Yeah.
we kind of knew about each other or had heard about each other from just being in the ballroom world, right?
Yes. Big fan.
And yes,
Big
same,
fan of yours.
same. Big fan of yours. So, I heard about you on a podcast a long time ago, I think Ballroom Chat, maybe
Oh,
with
yeah.
Samantha
Miss
Stout.
Samantha. I love
Yes,
her.
yes,
She's so
yes.
sweet.
So I had kind of actually been following your journey a little bit on
Very cool.
Instagram and had heard a little bit about you. And then tell me how you heard about Ballroom Box or how you knew about it.
So I think I found you on Instagram, and it just kind of like something
Okay.
through connection. And then I really was able to understand what you did when I worked with Natalie Crandall, as she does Desert Soul, and you sponsored with one of your boxes. I was able to kind of like dig in there and see what it was all about and kind of get to know you behind the box. Because that's the thing on your Instagram, you're not very featured. So I was like, who is in charge of this fantastic idea? I would love to get. But I also didn't, and I mentioned this to you before, I didn't really want to contact you on a professional level yet because I really didn't have an idea of how I wanted to collaborate with you. But I knew there was something that could be done, but I just was not in the headspace at that time. My husband and I were, you know, traveling, growing our businesses, all that stuff. And then when I finally settled into this idea that we're going to talk about today, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is so
Yeah.
perfect. Like, we can totally collaborate on this.
Okay. So give me the vision. What is the
Yeah.
vision of Dance Wellness Community?
So, like I said, I started dancing when I was very, very young. And the concept there was like, oh, your dad's in the business. You're going to just start competing and then you're going to go pro and then you're going to just dance and you're going to travel and do all the things, right? It's like for every single person, there's kind of like one path. And the resources are coaches, vendors, but there isn't really like anything like a sports therapist, any mental health, fit like financial. Like I'm like, how am I going to afford to do this? Like I don't, there was really no guidelines on any of that. I was
Right.
just following in other people's footsteps. My brother is also an incredible dancer. He's 4 years younger than me. And both of us kind of just felt like this was not the path for us. We were like, we don't want to open up a studio. We don't want to take over dads. We don't really want to compete pro. We kind of do, but we kind of have also other dreams. And we realized that was like a full-time gig. And we just were like, what else can we do? My brother decided to go to LA. He wanted to be an actor in Los
Okay.
Angeles. And he was like, I'm going to go do that. And then I wanted to be a singer, believe it or not. And
Okay.
so,
Okay. Fun.
yeah, so I was like, I was already singing a lot in my teens and in high school, college. And I was like, I might just follow my brother to LA and just try to see if I can get like a record deal or if I can like start singing background for someone.
Yeah.
And we kind of just went from there. And dance was always a part of our lives. Like I was still teaching because that's a great way to get a to make some money.
Right.
And
Right.
I was, I had run my dad's dance studio for many years when I was younger. So I was like, I already knew the business side of it. But there was just so many questions, that we had of how we can participate, but there weren't enough resources for us to understand it. So
Got
my
it.
vision, if
Okay.
because now if I look back, now I'm 35. If I look back to when I was 20, 20, 21, when I was fully like invested into wanting to maybe do this, um, I didn't see a clear path on how to do this. And if I would have had the dance wellness community back then, I mean, game changer. Like I would have had, the path and the resources and the tools to be able to do this in a sustainable way. Because I think that's my biggest thing is I'm all about sustainability in
Right.
anything that you do, whether it's building a business, whether it's a relationship, whether anything. And when I met my husband and kind of went through my little identity crisis, as I call it, and was trying to understand who I wanted to be, what I wanted to be, that took me into my 30s, like 30, 31. And I got into life coaching. I
Okay.
got into like end of 20s, I started doing manifestation coaching, high performance coaching, all these different things. And I created an online academy with a business partner of mine and
Okay.
got deep into that. So now for the last 5, 6 years, I've been a high performance coach and I work with CEOs of companies, high performance athletic, performers, and I help them to create balance and resources and systems in their life that allow them to do what they're doing at this high level sustainably without having to be like, oh, I have to do things at a lower level, or I can't do everything at once. You can't have it all. It's like, you can have it all, but you have to have systems and delegation and proper intention behind what you're doing in order to do it all. It doesn't just
Right.
happen. And
Right.
so, a few people in the ballroom world, as because then cut to my husband started um, Send One Media. And he
Okay.
was, he's the main, one of the main photographers in the business. So we have about 15, 16 comps a year. And so I'm there with him. We're doing interviews, we're doing social media. I'm still on camera, which I love to do. And I'm a part of the ballroom world in some way, right? I have one or two students that love to dance with me once or twice a year. I get to throw myself on the floor. It's a good time. But I was like, there's so many people that have come up to me and they're like, hey, I saw this thing you posted on your social media about
Mhm.
coaching and this academy that you do, and I would love to learn more. And I feel like I'm burnt out. I want to retire. I don't know how that works. What do I do after? Like,
Yeah.
there's no answers for how things are supposed to go. Everyone's just kind of feeling it out. And
Right.
that's in a industry as expensive and as like that creates high like champions
Right.
as much as it is, there's so little support for how this can be done or what your path can be, or even, like I said, the financial, the mental health behind it all, the
Right. Right.
exhaustion, jet lag, all of it,
Right.
dealing with students, dealing with professionals, all of it. And finally, I was like, listen, there's something to be done here. I needed this resource when I was competing, and maybe I would have stayed in longer if I had it. Then what can I do here? So I kind of brainstormed. I was last year I was pregnant. So I had a lot of free time on my hands to kind of just like I was trying to be in a slower season. And I decided I'm going to create this community that can provide expert level, because that's another thing too, is who are these people that can help? For first and foremost, it was
Right.
myself because I was already a high performance coach for
Right.
professional athletes. But
Yeah.
then I was like, we need a nutritionist, a dietitian, we need some financial help, a financial efficiency coach. We need someone who can help with studio growth. We need, like, there were so many things. I was like, I have ideas of how this can be. And luckily, I've been blessed to be connected with so many people throughout my dance career and because
Right.
of my dad
Right.
and everything that I started reaching out to all my contacts that do a lot of these things. And they are professionals outside of the industry.
Right.
They help and they do what I do, but they're also still dancers and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
understand what dancers need. So they can blend the two together beautifully. And
Nice.
we now have 10 practitioners, which is amazing. And they
Right.
were all, every time I jumped on a call with them and I explained to them the idea was they were like, oh my God, that's so perfect. I love it. How can I
Right.
participate? And that really gave me the confidence, like I was telling you before. This is an idea that stemmed from just my need and a
Right.
few of other people that I knew.
Yep.
But you never know if it's something that people
Right.
actually need or if it's going to take off or if people see your vision.
Yes.
And so, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
same thing with
Yes.
your ballroom box. And so
Yes. Yes.
so then you start to talk to people and you're just so passionate about it. And then they get wrapped up in it. And then all of a sudden they have ideas and they're like, oh, we could do this and we could do, and I'm like,
Right.
yes, you get it. And that
Right.
was so validating for me, but also just so I was just so appreciative that I was connected with so many incredible professionals, not just dance professionals, but professionals in their own specific
Right.
industry, that I was like, we can help so many people. I was just, on cloud nine.
Yeah.
So,
Do you see dance wellness community as for mainly professionals or for amateurs or both?
so I see it for both. I
Okay.
do feel that's a great question. I do feel like professionals are what need the most support in this space. We actually had just had this conversation with my husband and a friend of ours last night that we don't even have health insurance in our industry. We have no retirement. We have no
Right.
like any of that. And so as a professional, like, because my husband was like, it's such an interesting thing to be a professional dancer and call that a career. Some people just do it as a hobby. Because then we
Right.
saw we saw bull riding on the TV and we are like, and someone's a professional bull rider. Like, what an interesting concept. So how does that go about? And I said, that's exactly what I'm trying to do with Dance Wellness Community. I would love to eventually have like some sort of health insurance situation for them. But those are things that take years to accomplish.
Right. Sure.
That's,
Yeah.
the small vision right now, and I'll read to you our mission statement. It's to provide a safe place for dancers to learn, grow, heal, and become educated on mental health, self-care, work-life balance, physical recovery, and financial efficiency so they can achieve their highest goals without living in survival mode or burning out.
Nice.
And
Okay.
and the concept is I always wanted to achieve at a high level. And when I felt like I was burning out, hitting a wall, living in survival mode, so many people told me, well, just slow down, stop everything that you're doing, take some things off the plate. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I want to achieve at this high level. I love being a high achiever. I love being a type A
Right.
personality. I love doing all the things because I love traveling and I love people and I love talking. And I was like, but there's got to be a way that I can. Now, I've learned that yes, you do have to find seasons of your life where you slow down, like when I was pregnant, and intentional
Right.
times
Right.
where you cannot do it all essentially, but you can still achieve at a very high level and feel balanced. And I think that from my coaching is what I've shared with so many clients that I wanted to bring in to the athletes.
Yes.
Because when you watch someone like Simone Biles on the Olympics, and she's over here performing at the highest level in the world that you could perform at, and then the last Olympics, she completely pulled out for her mental health and said, I need to focus on me. And now she's come back and
Right.
and she's
Right.
still the GOAT and she's
Correct it.
the
Right.
most decorated Olympian. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And you can still choose you and have self-care, but also
Right.
achieve at a high level. And your time is never over,
Right.
if that makes
Right.
sense.
So, okay, that talks a little bit about it's definitely for professionals, and that's
Yes.
kind of maybe like where it started. How do you see this as a benefit for amateur dancers?
Amateur dancers. So amateur dancers come into the space as like, this is my hobby. I'm excited. I want to learn. I want to dance. I want to grow. The professionals are guiding them in that. I do want to provide the professionals with more tools and resources to help guide their students better
Okay.
for
Yes.
mental, physical, financial.
Yeah.
But for the amateur dancers, we have a few practitioners that are focused just on them.
Okay.
So one specifically, his name is Andy. He's fantastic. He is an amateur dancer himself. He's been dancing for many,
Okay.
many years. And he focuses on the mental preparation of what it takes to start competing as an amateur dancer. You're
Yes.
dealing with um, culture shock because your teacher is probably Eastern European and there's a language barrier there. So he has that as well. And he says, I'm going to
Okay.
help you understand how to do that.
Nice.
He again, kind of like what you do with your ballroom box, where he gives some kind of guidance on this is maybe the pants you should buy, and this is the dresses that might be good. And, he kind of gives some guidance in that. Also, like what you should do right before you get on the floor. What kind of mental space should you be in? Do you have a routine? Do you have some kind of a thing you can do? And then, of course, I have dietitians that are available as well that are also some of them are amateur, some of them are professional dancers that are here to help with this is what you should eat right before you get on the floor. Like, don't
Yeah.
starve yourself. Um, this is how you should recover from nutritionally.
Right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
also have her name is Christine as well, and she is a physical recovery and performance coach in the physical sense. So she works
Okay.
with physical therapy,
Nice.
physical
Yes.
recovery,
Yes.
all of those types of things. I mean, absolutely incredible because we don't talk about the stretching and all of that. No one's telling us how to do that. I didn't stretch for years. I was just like, I'm young. I'm going to hop on the floor. I'll be fine. I won't break a bone. Like,
Right. Well, even now, I mean, you show up for your dance lesson, right? And as an amateur, you show
right.
up and you want to get everything out of that time that you have with your teacher, your coach. And
Yes.
so you're ready to just hit the floor running. Well, okay, how did you prepare your body for that ahead of time?
Right.
Physically, food, all those different things. And financially, like even the financial stuff is
Well,
really
that's the
important.
thing. It's a very expensive industry to be in. There's no secret behind that. A lot of the students in our industry are very wealthy, and they're using their money to enjoy themselves. However, you have those people that want to participate, but they can only afford to do one or two comps a year. And I
Right,
think the guidance for them is which comps do I do to get the most out of my dancing, to
right,
feel like I'm not drowning in competition, but I'm also having fun. But I also feel like there's enough people in my division to
right.
feel the challenge.
Yep,
Um, and the teachers are guiding to the extent of their knowledge. Sometimes
right,
they're guiding based on, well, all my other students are going here, so come with us here. But that might not be the best situation for the student. Or they're trying to guide them, but they don't actually know what would be best for the student, and they're just kind of trying and error, and that's fine. But there can be more. There
right,
can be more
right.
resources available.
Okay, so right now with Dance Wellness Community, they can go
Yes.
to the website and they can sign up. And what will they receive when they sign up?
Yes, absolutely. So right now, again, we've been doing kind of a soft launch since June. Like I said, this idea, it just kind of took over me, and I'm the kind of person that I want all my ducks in a row before I launch something. But I was like, no, this needs to just come out, and I want to evolve it based on what people need. So, like
Good.
a good example, and I'm going to get to your question. I'm so sorry, but a good
Okay, you're good.
example is like I met someone this weekend at Phoenix Fall Festival where my husband was doing photo, and she does quick solutions. So it's like fixing a seam rip, a button that's fallen off, all these things that the teacher has to eventually figure out how to help the student when in reality, she's there for them. So
Right,
again, that's a need that we all knew, but haven't really done anything about it. And she's doing something about it. So we're going to feature her and connect her with us and all of our community. And same thing for what you're doing. That's why we've collaborated. So,
yes, yep.
so the way that people can start is just signing up for our newsletter. Like become
Okay,
a part of our community. You can go to dancewellnesscommunity.com. There will be a pop-up. Put your name and email in there. You'll be on our email list. It's all free for right now.
yep,
Everything's free.
yep.
And you will get a monthly newsletter. Newsletter started in June, so we'll send you back the other ones. And each month
Nice.
we have a featured practitioner. One of our practitioners is featured. You get to know about them, bio, information, stats, professional entities. And then you can book a call with them, like a free consultation. So if this is someone that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the practitioner I've been waiting to see, I need them. You can book a free call with them. You can listen to a podcast episode that we recorded with every practitioner so that you can get an idea, kind of like this, of
Yep, yep.
what they do, how they help. And then of course I have my systems in there. I'm kind of like the head coach, and so I have a great recipe for the month that's quick, easy, fun, and nutritious. I've got one of my favorite systems. Every month I give kind of one of my secret systems of my life or something that's
Yeah,
helpful, travel things, something related to dancers. And then I have like a wellness blog that has to do with
nice.
maybe setting boundaries with, people around you. That can be about performing at your highest potential and how to achieve that. Like I've created, these blogs that people can read and learn from. So you get kind of all of that in there. Plus we've partnered with, some of our favorite vendors like Alan
Yeah,
and Nathan, hair and makeup, and, all of these people, same thing with you. We're offering
yeah.
10% off for first time customers for these vendors, if you find them through us. And so you can click on that, shop now, all that. And then I have some fun little perks. Like I have, I'm very connected with like Southwest Airlines and, a few other major companies that I work with that help with, transfer. Like Revolut is a great international currency transfer thing. And I have all these like, you know, links and things like that. So there's a bunch of goodies in there. That's the
Yeah.
idea. I want to
Yeah.
fill it with things that are valuable to people
Right.
that especially dancers that are there that need this stuff. And then slowly but surely you're learning about who's a part of our team and who are the professionals in this community that are here to help you. Um, and eventually I want to do like live events and I want us to do workshops at competitions. I want a news feed, kind of like a Facebook news feed on our website so people can come and drop a question and say, hey, I just have a quick question for, you
Yeah.
know, Ricky Lee, our dietitian, and I would love to know about this. And then she can answer real quick. And there's this back and forth. And that will eventually be a paid monthly subscription, not very
Okay.
expensive, but something just so that you can get the value and the
Right.
practitioners, are there to
Right.
help you, I want to say 24/7, but they'll pop in there, they'll answer questions.
Right.
You can participate in live events. If there's a live event at a competition, you can, if you're a member, you can enter for free, as part of your membership. These are the things I want to eventually evolve into this because I think it's going to be so interactive
Yeah.
and people will be able to share and learn and grow.
Right. Right. That's so great. That's so great. I love, yeah, I mean, obviously we've come together just because we have a similar vision of
Yes,
our tagline is inspiring and equipping people. And that's it. Like we just want
love
people to
that.
step on the floor, whether it's amateurs, professional, wherever you're at, prepared, like
Yeah.
confident and ready to
Yes.
dance and ready to enjoy the reason that you're there instead of being so bogged down by all the things. And so we do that with a quarterly box, right? By sending
Yes.
people items that they need that maybe they didn't even know that they needed. But then
Right.
we also try to do an educational piece each season as well. So this is kind of like this educational piece is very full because you're going
Yeah.
to cover a lot of different things, but just that community, like I love that so much. I love that you called it community, wellness community, because there are so many pieces to that puzzle of us working together that really help, I mean, and I do feel like the dance community is its own special little thing, right?
It
Like if you
is.
go to a ballroom competition of any kind, you kind of have family there, like you
Oh,
see
for
those
sure.
people from competition to competition, whether they're competitors or, even judges, even if you can't say hi to them, you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, like
Sure.
you're familiar. It is like a community. So I love that vision that you have of calling it that, but then also just really like equipping people and helping people feel prepared and ready to
Yeah. I
enjoy
love
this
what
journey.
I love what you're saying about the family aspect because you're right. I mean, a lot of times people come to a dance competition because they just want to hang out with their friends in the
Yeah,
ballroom and they want to support
right,
each other and cheer each other on. There's signs, there's clappers, there's everything. And I think that's wonderful, especially when the studios bring a lot of students. That way they can all support each other at the same time. But I think that's the thing. I think we have the community aspect already. We have the love
right,
and the joy. I think the problem is that everyone's just kind of helping each other with the resources they already have in their head or with their
right, right, right,
experience
right.
level. And that could be so many different varieties of things, whether it be the amateurs from, our amateur dancers. Some of them are, you know, extremely expert level doctors, lawyers. I mean, these are
Yeah,
like huge professionals in not only in our in their industries but in the world. They
yeah,
own
yeah,
companies, they're CEOs, they're all this
right,
stuff, so they have knowledge on other levels. However, they come into our dance world and they're like, well, I didn't know that you were supposed to wear tights like this, and I didn't know that these were the proper shoes to wear, and I didn't know that you were supposed to
right,
blah blah blah, enter thing here. And the professional dancers, they're doing what works for them. And they're like, well,
right.
this is what worked for me, so let's do it. But as we know, wellness is not a one size fits all. It's just not. And you can go in to see a doctor and say, I have this problem. And he could say, well, based on my 9 other clients, this is going to be it. And then, of course, that's how we get misdiagnosed with things. So on a
Mhm.
mental and a physical and a financial level, of how to help. What I love about these practitioners that we've, collected here is that they are already working with their own small business to help clients individually
Right.
figure out what's good for them,
Right.
not what worked for them that they're going to
Oh, yeah.
share. They have
Right.
experience levels and all that stuff, but they're trying to curate a individual program or system that can help that particular client achieve the goal that they're trying to achieve. Because that's another thing. Not everybody has the same goal.
Right. True.
And
Very true.
so you go based on the goal, based off of the ability of the person and they what they're needing. And those three things are going to curate a solution for you. And you need a professional in that field to guide you through that. Not
Right.
just, your dance instructor can't be everything to you in that regard because they're just trying to help you learn how to dance.
Right.
That's
Yes.
already in and of itself a difficult task.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
Sure.
and support there is, the dance teachers, what do dance teachers always say? I'm not just a dance teacher. I'm a therapist. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a life coach. I'm a best friend. I'm an Uber driver. It's like I help with their shoes. I mean, there's so many things. And I think that's the thing is taking a little bit of pressure off the instructor as well. Get,
Yeah.
giving them some resources to help with their
Yes.
mental health through this process because
Yes.
it's also
Yes.
it's a career for them, right?
Yeah.
Providing them with financial stability and things like that for them,
Absolutely.
but also helping the amateur on, give, giving some support there
Right.
through diet and physical
Professional. Yes.
recovery and all
Yeah.
of those things as well. So I really think it is at the end of the day really for both people. And then you talk about judges, studio owners, competition owners. There's so many vendors, you know what I mean? There's so many different people. And I think that
Yeah.
the mental side of this, the mental and financial side of this can help so many of those people if they're not in the physical side of it. They're
Yeah.
not in competition anymore, but they still need to understand how they can make a living out of this financially and how they cannot burn out doing all these competitions and
Yes.
try to do it all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we'll kind of start wrapping up just a little bit,
Yeah,
just this little part. So, if there was something that you had to say to dancers, and the majority, we have a few professionals that are subscribers, but the majority of our subscribers are amateur dancers. What would
wonderful.
be a word of encouragement that you would share with them?
Ooh, I love that question. Um, my word is always, I have two words. My word
Okay.
is awareness and intention.
Ooh, good ones. Okay.
Those are really great. I do talk a lot about sustainability, but I think between those two words, awareness and intention,
Yeah.
is I think that sometimes a lot of things get swept under the rug just to get the job done.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we'll talk about that the next comp. We'll talk about that at the next coaching session. And then it never gets discussed. And I
Mhm.
think from an amateur standpoint, I think a lot of our professionals and judges and coaches need to understand that like the amateurs are what make this industry work, right? It's
Right.
it's the truth. And so and what that is how it goes. And so we want to make sure that we cater to those amateurs to understand how we can support them in this goal, in this dream, in whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And the professionals need the support in order to be the best coaches for them,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So it's a domino
Right.
effect, but it starts at the core with the amateur dancers.
Right.
And so that awareness of like, oh, this person just fell, let me help them up. Oh, this, from that to also, gosh, I've been seeing this person at this competition for a while, and I just feel like there's an energy that she feels a little down. Let me go talk to her and see what's going on. Like, I don't think people are acting enough on their instinct because
Huh.
it's there, but
Yeah.
it's a matter of so that's the awareness part is seeing it. And
Okay.
then the intention part is doing something about it.
Right.
What
Right.
are we doing about it? We see something happen. Now we have to react. And some people are like, I don't want to participate. I don't want to be involved. And it's like, I hear you. But like, how can you be involved in a way that's not going to affect your mental health? Because you don't want someone also pouring their, problems onto you. But the idea, like, you don't need to be someone's therapist, but that's kind of where I want this to fit in. You go up to
Gotcha.
someone, you're like, hey, I see that you're struggling a little bit. I would love to share something with you. There's this community I'm a part of called the Dance Wellness Community, and I would love for you to see if there's someone in there that maybe can help you through this journey.
Nice. Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? You pass it on. You have created that intention to now it's up to them, balls in their court,
Right,
to move forward with maybe I can have some support and this journey could be a little bit more enjoyable or easier or more fun or whatever it is that they're looking
right,
for.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm getting? Yeah,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's so
cool.
good. So good. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for your time. Thank you for, yeah, partnering with us. Thanks for offering this out to our subscribers so that they can, really learn about your community and learn about and also, I mean, just all your work that goes into these newsletters. Obviously, I've
yeah,
gotten them for the last couple months, and
yeah,
I mean, the recipes, the interviews are so great. I really appreciate how you dig into each one of the interviews to ask so many questions that are just really, really good. And yeah, just your whole vision of really wanting to support dancers at all levels is just really, really great. So thank you for all your work and putting it together and working at reaching out to the vendors and reaching out
absolutely.
and creating. I
It's
know.
my pleasure. I mean, really, honestly, this is something I needed when I was competing young and I was younger.
Yeah.
And it's something I still need, but it's something that I feel like I have found the solutions for myself and they work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get
Yes.
back from traveling if we were just in
Yes.
Europe for 2 months, I come back, my house is clean, my systems are here. I don't feel like I have to reinvent the wheel every time I do something. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can't gatekeep this anymore. It's not like I was, it's just I didn't have the vehicle to deliver it properly. And I
Right.
feel like with the dance wellness community, this is the vehicle I was looking for, the platform to be able to share. And it's not just me. Like I said, I don't have all the answers.
Right.
I need these other practitioners that are in so many different areas. Like I said, you can look on our website there. We've got 10 of them right now, and we want to keep it small too. I'm not trying to get 20, 50, 100 practitioners. I
Okay.
want them to be niche. I want them to be licensed professionals
Yes.
that
Yes.
you're getting real help with real support,
Right.
that they've all been vetted, they've all these are
Right.
real people doing real things, that are making things happen, and their clients are extremely satisfied and successful in what they're doing. And that
Yeah.
was very important for me to bring those professionals to our dance industry. And you'd be surprised. Some of them, a lot of them, people are like, oh, I know that person. I'm like, did you know that they did this? They're like, no,
Really?
they're not
Yeah. Yeah.
sharing. They're not
Yeah.
sharing. And that's the thing. I was like, why are we not sharing? And they're like, well, I just don't know. I'm already dancing. I don't want them to think that like I just do this on the side and it's not like really that big of a deal. And I'm like, no, like this is the idea is we're going to create this platform that allows these practitioners to shine, but
Yeah.
also that they are taken at an expert level. It's not like, oh, she dances, but she also does this on the side. It's like, no, she's actually this and
Yeah.
she dances.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Right. And so
Yeah.
you're like working with a professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it so much.
Same. I want to thank you so much. It has been an absolute joy over these past couple of months to just connect with each other and go
Yeah.
back and forth in the emails and, be a part of your box. Like that was such an honor, when I've been a fan for so long.
That
And
makes
I
me
love,
feel so good. You have no idea because I am an amateur dancer as well. I'm
yeah,
like, oh gosh, like you question whether or not you're worthy, but
totally.
yeah, we are,
No,
right?
you absolutely are.
Yes.
You have been doing some amazing things.
Thanks.
It takes starting, in the backyard, in the neighborhood,
Yes.
to make change. And I think what you're doing and your commitment to these boxes, also I love themes. I love a good theme. So every box that you have a theme and everything is cohesive. There's so much intention behind what you're doing. And again, I love
Yes.
that. And so I think you're doing amazing. I'm honored to be a part of it, and I'm excited for us to continue to do
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me to chat,
Yeah.
and share my vision.
So, quick question to really wrap up and finish it up. Tell me about the little sticker that we put in the box. It says, Master your moves, balance your life.
So I feel like you did a great job on your live, kind of explaining the way that you felt like you interpreted it. And I think everyone's going to have their own interpretation, which is what I like. But we talk about, mastering your moves in a sense of like, everyone wants to be a champion. Everyone's trying to like get the best technique and the best this and the
Yes,
best,
yes,
and that kind of
yes,
thing.
yes.
Um, but I believe that like the moves that you make in life, the choices that you make, the systems that you create,
Mhm.
there's mastery behind that as well. And
Mhm.
that is what kind of goes into by mastering those moves, that's where your life is going to feel balanced.
Yeah.
And your life is going to have this synergy and this flow to it that even if you get into some high seasons of like, oh my gosh, we're in world's nationals, all the things, and it's go, 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 you know that a slower season is coming so that you can
Right.
recover and you can, there's mastery behind how you balance all of that. And then of course, yes, the literal, I guess, translation is mastering your physical moves. Um, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
is about creating a life that's sustainable because nobody wants to just jump in this industry for a couple of years and then leave because they're overwhelmed, whether you're an
Right.
amateur or a professional. And
Absolutely.
so, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to create longevity here. And the
Yes. Yes.
longevity, we need more resources for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. I love that so much. And I think as we were talking before, and I was telling you that our theme for the box was hot versus cold, and are you
Yes.
hot or cold in the ballroom? And so we had things that were like on both sides. And so then our card in the box had like cold on one side and hot on the other. And because it depends. If you're dancing, you're probably really hot. If you're watching or a long time between heats, you're probably frozen solid in the ballroom.
Right.
So
Totally.
just yeah, I think the balance and that kind of played into it. I love a little good cheeky theme.
I was
We've
just gonna
done that.
say it went perfectly. We
It
were so
did.
excited when you told me your theme. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so great because also I'm a Libra, so our my sign
Scales.
is the
Yep.
scales. So it's always been about balance for me. And
Right.
that's what really got me into the high performance coaching is like I want to be able to achieve at a high level, but I
Yes.
also want to feel normal and sane and not just running myself into the ground, you know?
Right. Right.
And
Right. Right.
and it took me years to accomplish that. That was not
Yes.
something that just happened overnight. I did a lot of coaching with and a lot of therapy and a lot of things for
Right.
myself. And now I'm at a place years
I
later
think
where I've created so much to share.
one other thing that I love so much about the way that you're creating this is that it validates the need
Mm,
for uh, seeking help, and it validates uh, not the need, but it validates doing it, getting it, asking
yeah.
for help. Like, okay, you have a
Yeah.
question about how to have this mindset. Like in some ways, I think we feel like I even said a minute ago, like I feel like I'm just this amateur dancer, whatever. I'm this amateur dancer who's like competed
Own
at
it.
a high level. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
But I needed some mindset coaching in the middle of that.
Yes.
No. And
Yes.
I'm not ashamed of that. And
No.
like, I'm not ashamed. In fact, I think it shows a huge sign of strength to say,
Totally.
hey, I have this need. I need to figure out how to handle this financially. I need to figure out how to deal with this physical, whatever. And so it's a sign of strength to say, all right, I have this need. I'm going to go and find a resource who can help me figure this out. And so
Totally.
I love that you are not only like building this community of professionals to help, but you're also like empowering women
Mm,
and men
great
to
word.
say,
Yeah.
I need this, and it's a good thing that I need
It's a
this.
good thing that I need this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just talked to Shane and Shannon Jensen,
Mm,
nine-time
yes,
world
yes.
champions, theater arts, the whole
Right,
thing. And we
right.
just did an interview with them at a
Good one.
competition this weekend. They were happy to say that, what contributes to all of their success. They listed all these things. And they said, we also talked to a sports psychologist. And we're not ashamed of saying that. And I was like, you shouldn't be. That's amazing. Like, hats
Right,
off.
right.
And I explained to them kind of what I do. And this, you're absolutely right. It's the empowerment. That word is
Right.
so
Yeah,
powerful. The
yeah.
empowerment of like, I need this and I'm happy that I need it because I am going to achieve at a higher level
Right.
and more sustainably because I mean,
Yeah.
and what talk about longevity, they've been dancing for over 15 years, consistently winning every year,
Amazing. Right.
since the first time they won. And I'm like, how do you create that consistency and that longevity and you're not I mean, your physical, your mental, your financial
Right.
health all has to be on
Yeah.
point for so long,
Yeah. He's
you
like
know?
spinning her like in the air.
It's
Right.
insane. And so a lot of people, they can't maintain that longevity. They're like, I could just get to a high level, compete, win. I mean, that's why same thing with the Olympics. Every 4 years, you have to keep yourself in
Right.
tip-top shape. And that is what I'm trying to do is people want to be in this industry longer. They want to be
Yeah.
able to be in this industry and not feel so, drained by doing
Right.
it and not just
Right.
try to survive. They actually want to
Right.
thrive. I want people to thrive. And that's where we're at. We're going to end on that because
Yay.
I feel like we
Yes.
could go on forever.
I
But
know. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
so
Summary. Here we
exciting.
go. We could keep going.
It's
So,
exciting. We're
yeah.
passionate about it. And that's what's the
Yeah.
most important thing.
Right. 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 Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
We
so
really
welcome.
appreciate it. Love hearing from you and looking forward to hearing from our subscribers as you get your newsletters. Be sure to
Yes.
go to dancewellnesscommunity.com. You can also follow on Instagram, right?
Yes,
Your
absolutely.
Instagram
We got a
handle.
lot of really cool resources on there as well that you
Okay.
guys can, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So definitely
absolutely.
go check out Christine Bar-Noel. Thank you so much for joining us
My
and
pleasure.
look forward to more collaborations.
Yes. Woo!